How's it going, you guys? Hudson here, and today I'm back with another open strategy video for you. Today we're going to cover open workout 20.3. For me personally, I love this workout. I'm a shorter guy, I'm a stockier guy. Handstand push-ups and deadlifts are my thing. I absolutely love this workout. I feel like a lot of people weren't expecting this one. I definitely wasn't. I thought there would be some kind of row or some kind of like, I feel like handstand push-ups possibly, but I was hoping they'd throw in some mix into the movement list, but I guess not. I'm still having my fingers crossed they do devil's presses. I really want something new and just totally random thrown into the mix. So with this workout, actually real quick before we even get started, first, I'm gonna try to make this video as short as I possibly can, but if it is a longer video, it's because I have a lot of information to share with you guys, and it's because I might think of a lot of things as I'm saying stuff that I really want to share with you to help you do your best on this workout. So I'm gonna try to make it short, but if it's long, it's because there's a lot of information for you guys. Secondly, if you guys have any questions on anything I say or want any personalized feedback, make sure you leave a comment on this video or direct message me on ConstantlyVariedFitness. I'll be sure to get back to you guys right away because I'm always very responsive or quick with my responses on both of those platforms. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'll gladly give you guys my feedback. So open workout 20.3 is a repeat of, I believe, 18.3 is what it was. It was 21, 15, 9 deadlifts and handstand push-ups was pretty much the workout Diane. It's for a very popular benchmark workout. The deadlift weight's at 225 for guys, 155 for ladies, and then 21, 15, 9 deadlifts and 50-foot handstand walks. So it goes 21, 50, 15, 50, 9, 50. I saw the Norwegian CrossFit Championships live announcement of the open workout, and Kristen Holt crushed it. She was super fast. I think her time was like around 6:30 or something like that, which is very impressive. I remember last year, I think I got to my first set of handstand walks. I can't remember what my score was, but it's definitely a spicy workout. And after all those deadlifts and handstand push-ups, heavier deadlifts and handstand walks are not easy by any means. So I'm gonna give you guys my best strategy on how to do good on this workout. And one other thing I want to mention before we dive into all the information is that I'm getting a lot of questions on what determines if you should try to go RX or scale the workout. And I believe what Make WODs Great Again, John Woolley said that it's not always about RXing and trying to be the head honcho and trying to, show everyone up, and it's the ego needs to stay out of it, and you really just need to test your fitness. So there's two ways you can go about it. If your goal is to get stronger, more or better at gymnastic skills and become a much better athlete in the sport, then I would recommend going RX just so you can use this as a benchmark. So maybe next year you're much more proficient at handstand push-ups. Maybe you have a heavier deadlift, maybe you're gonna get handstand walks next year, and you can retest this workout in years to come and see how much better you get at it. But if you're someone that doesn't really care about handstand push-ups, you just join CrossFit just to get a sweat on, stay functional, get in great workouts, there's no problem with scaling, because if you scale, you're gonna get a lot further, do a lot more reps, get a lot more work in, and truly test just how fit you are in a sense of aerobic capacity and muscular endurance. So either way is fine. If you want to RX it or you want to scale it, either way, just push yourself and see what you can do, and we'll always find out the next time you retest how much fitter you got. So some real quick things I wanted to mention. I feel like I keep saying really quick things. So things that they pointed out that were really important for this workout is that first, your arms must be straight in the deadlifts. There's no bouncing of the deadlift. Some people come down really fast and kind of use that bounce as like a momentum to help them stand back up for their next rep. Your arms must be locked out the entire time you're doing deadlifts. Very good practice. Make sure you're never bouncing the deadlift. Make sure you're never letting your arms down, because that means you're just whipping your body around, and your spine's not gonna like that one day and just give out on you. Secondly is stand tall at the go. So the Norwegian announcer kept mentioning it, and he said you must stand up all the way, and then 3, 2, 1, go, then you bend over to pick up the bar. It's not 3, 2, 1 while you're making your way down towards the bar. So I thought that was very important as he kept mentioning that. Next, collars must be outside of the weight. So for example, you have your weights up here for your first round of deadlifts. Let's say you make it to the second round of deadlifts. You can't just slap weights on top of the collars. You must take that collar off, put the weight on, and then put the collar back on that bar, and then start locked out on handstand push-ups. So I hate the fact that they went back to the old standard of the tape and the measuring of the forearms. I'm sure Jacob Hepner's not gonna like that either. But when you're doing that, you have to first kick up into the handstand, fully extended, so your heels are over the line. You come down and kick back up, so your heels are over the line again. Some people start in a headstand. They kind of drop straight down, so they're at the bottom, and then count that as a first rep. You must start fully locked out for your first rep to count. Otherwise, if you were to start in a headstand, you would have to then press up, come down and up, and that's a full rep. So essentially, this is your start position, halfway through the rep, that's one full rep. So keep that in mind. First, going over mobility. So The first thing I think of in this workout is your posterior chain. It's a lot of deadlifts, especially if you're going fast. It's gonna be really spicy on your backside, so stretch out your hamstrings, stretch out your glutes, stretch out your lower back. We're gonna warm them up in a little bit later, but make sure that those feel mobile and good, and getting into a deadlift position and bending over and picking up the bar feels really comfortable, and it doesn't feel like it's like pulling on your hamstrings or your back, because if it feels tight before you start the workout, oh boy, is it gonna light up when you're in the workout. Next is your thoracics. This one's really important because when it comes to the handstand push-up, you need to be able to get your arms through at the top to reach that full extension. If your upper back is tight and you can't fully get your arms behind your head and you're rounded over like this, you're gonna be in a very poor position. It's gonna cost you a couple inches at the top of your handstand push-up, and you might not reach that full extension to be able to get your heels over the line. So make sure your thoracic feels good, open it up, make sure everything feels warm and loose so you can get that full extension overhead. Secondly is forearms. So I remember this last year. For me personally, I don't really have very tight forearms in my opinion. I don't wear wrist wraps or anything. Like my forearms, usually my wrists are not a problem area for me. But I remember my forearms, my wrists being pretty lit up because you're holding onto a bar and squeezing your forearms really tight, so you're getting a good pump. And then you go into this extension position for your handstand push-ups or your handstand walks, or even if you're doing hand release push-ups and the bear crawls, you're still gonna feel it there as well if you're someone like me that just gets lit up for here for some reason. So with the combination of these two movements, you're definitely gonna feel in this area. So I just recommend rolling out the forearms, smashing them, making sure they feel nice and loose, especially for someone that feels like you have really tight wrists, like in a front squat or in an overhead squat. Make sure they feel mobile, very simple. Forearm stretches will help you through that. And then lastly, your shoulders, very shoulder intensive with all of those handstand push-ups. Make sure you mobilize the front and back side of your shoulders so they feel really loose and they're ready to press your body up against the wall. Now, two different sections for the warm-up. First is more like activation and more just getting everything firing, make sure everything is warm. So it's 2 rounds, 6 scat pull-ups. I think we did these last week also. They're really effective. You're gonna dead hang on the bar, you're gonna shrug downwards and engage your lats and your scaps so you're pulling the shoulders away from your ears and then coming back to that dead hang. Just to us practice pulling and retracting our shoulder blades downwards, so that way we're able to keep that bar nice and tight to the body. Next is 6 scat push-ups. From the push-up position, you're gonna round your back and then bring your shoulder blades together. Pulling, this is the true retraction of your scapula, pulling them down, and then the scat pull-ups are the, I forgot the exact motion it's called, but the pulling downwards of your shoulders. So this is pulling them together, this is pulling them down. That's gonna help make sure you have a really nice upper back for these deadlifts. And then 10 Russian swings, and on these, keep them a moderate weight, nothing very crazy, but when you do that, I want you to make sure you're firing fast, so you're really focusing on opening the hips and squeezing the glutes really hard, getting them warm for those deadlifts and that full extension you need to get at the top of the deadlift. And then next 10 dumbbell push press. Again, a moderate to lightweight, nothing crazy here, but just to get those shoulders warmed up beforehand, I would do 10 quicker touch and go reps just to really, again, warm up those shoulders and get ready for quicker reps in the handstand push-ups. We're gonna talk about how fast you should go and the speed of those in a little bit, but you wanna make sure the shoulders are ready to be explosive and push your body right back up at the bottom of that handstand push-up. So just 2 rounds of those. Then I'm having you 3 rounds of 9-6-3 of the deadlifts at the weight that you plan on doing for the workout, whether you're doing RX or the scaled version, followed by handstand push-ups, just to get an idea of how everything feels. If 9-6-3 feels like a breeze, it's gonna give you an idea of how to approach 21-15-9. If it feels really heavy, it's gonna give you an idea how to approach 21-15-9. So this is like a very mini test just to work on transitions. You know, maybe practice untightening your belt, retightening your belt, make sure everything feels, you know, good. The transition from going to the wall, back to the bar, is it too far, is it too short? Get a feel for how this workout's gonna go for the first half, because for a lot of us, this is the workout. A lot of people last year, they either got really close to finishing it or they barely finished and they barely got into the first couple reps of deadlifts because this is a very heavy weight, especially after doing all of those. So treat this like this is the workout, and to an extent, we'll talk about it more in a second, but make sure you treat this with a purpose, because if this is done correctly, it's gonna set you up for a good workout here. But if this is a shitstorm, this is definitely gonna fall apart once you get to it. So practice here, the transitions. Do you like where the bar's at? Do you like you turning and kicking up on the wall, or do you wanna walk over to the wall? Is there chalk somewhere close nearby? Make sure everything is set up for you to do the best you can, you know, station-wise. Next, going over movement efficiency. So there's a lot of different things we're gonna talk about here, but the main things I wanna bring up is don't overextend. I see a lot of people do this with their deadlifts, especially when they're going for like a 1 rep max or like a really heavy triple. they get ready to pick up the bar, and once they get to that, they're ready to lock out and squeeze their glutes, they overextend and they push their hips forward just to really show that they fully locked out and that their hips are open. But that puts a lot of extra strain on your lower back, which is what you don't want when you have a lot of deadlifts to go and you have a lot of hip handstand push-ups where you're going to do a lot of flexion and extension, especially if you're going to be kipping. So make sure that you're not overextending. Just focus on squeezing the glutes, keeping the shoulders down and back, which we warm up here, and not over-exaggerating any of these positions. At the top, I tell people at the top of a deadlift, you're standing tall and at attention. So imagine making yourself as tall as you can, nice proud chest, shoulders are down, and everything is squeezed from your pretty much your core down. So my core, quads, glutes, calves, everything is tight. So that way I know I'm standing tall with the bar and it's a good rep, and I'm not putting any extra strain, leaning towards one way or the other and making my back wonky down the road. Next, don't pause on handstand push-up. This is a really big one for me. When you pause at the bottom of a handstand push-up or at the top of a handstand push-up, you're using musculature and you're not at a full rest. So some people think, once they get tired, they do one and they rest for a few seconds at the bottom. They do two, rest a few seconds at the bottom. But you still have to be tight and tense. You're still using your musculature to make sure you don't just break your neck on the mat. You still have to be tense in order for you to hold that headstand. I don't want you to waste energy in not getting reps, whereas you could just kick off the wall and shake it out for a little bit before you kick up into the next one. So don't pause and waste energy not getting towards any reps. If you do have to pause, like let's say you're on the round of 15 or round of 9, you're a few reps away from finishing, like you're on rep 13 of 15. Maybe a quick pause would be okay because you want to squeeze out those last 2 reps and not have to kick down and kick back up. That's fine, but I'd recommend for you to do is pause at the top of the handstand push-up. So don't pause here and then lose the tension in your hands. Pause at the top so you're really tense and your hands are pushing into the floor. Then from there, boom, 14, take a quick breather if you need it, boom, 15. So I don't recommend pauses, but if you have to, because you just have a few more reps you want to squeeze out, then do it, at the top of the handstand push-up, and only if there's just those few reps left. Next, smart sets on deadlifts. So this kind of ties in with the mental game we're going to talk about in a second, but I want to make sure we're not moving not moving poorly, but we're not sticking to a set rep scheme that's going to mess us up down the road. Deadlifts are one of those things where you can hold on to the bar and squeeze out a few more reps, especially at this moderate weight for most of us. But don't let yourself get sloppy and do too many and then blow up, because if you have trouble here, then these 315 are going to be really heavy. If you watch the open announcement with the other guy next to Kristen Holt, I don't remember his name, I know it was Games Out thing, he did the workout pretty well. I don't think he finished though. I stopped watching at the very end because after Kristen Holt was done I kind of lost interest. But his deadlifts just didn't look as smooth and as calm as they could be, whereas Kristen Holt, even though she went unbroken, everything looked in her realm. It looked controlled. It doesn't look like she was trying to hold onto a pace that she couldn't hold and then died off. She looked pretty smooth the whole entire time. So let's say in your training, 225 deadlifts, kind of heavy. You would typically break this up, but don't go in the open workout and think, okay, I'm gonna try to hold on this bar and see what I can do. Break them up, play it smart. If maybe you do sets of 7 on the 21, maybe you do 5, 5, 5, and then finish off the rest of the reps, or however you want to get it done. But make sure they're smart sets and you're not letting yourself do too many, blow up, and then everything fall apart and you're just, barely scraping by pulling singles off the floor. Don't do singles, because if you get to the point where you're on set of 15, you've done 10 reps, you go 11, you drop it. Pick it up, 12, drop it. We all know that first rep of the deadlift is the hardest. Don't do a bunch of singles unless you truly think that that's faster for you. But 9 times out of 10 with all of my athletes that I've seen, it's not a faster strategy. Take a step back, give your posterior chain a little bit of a break, chalk up really quick if you need to. Make sure you have chalk nearby so you don't have to walk across the gym to get it. And then from there, do that one really heavy first rep and then bang out a few more reps from there. But again, play it smart. Don't do anything that's going to blow you up and have to force you to only do singles because you're so lit up. Now, talking about the mental game, stay within your limits. It kind of ties into the smart sets on the deadlifts, but when it comes to open workouts, people tend to think that all of a sudden they're Superman and they can do it, or Superwoman. What's the word I'm looking for? No sexism here, but make sure you're staying within your limits and pacing the workout just good enough or just enough for you to stay fresh and to keep chipping away at it. Because again, everyone thinks that they're a superhero when it comes to an open workout, and they want to hold on that bar extra long. They want to go for a PR handstand push-up amount all of a sudden and try to just crush the workout from the beginning, and they die off. We see it every single open workout. Don't be that person. Deadlifts, no matter who you are, unless you have a 700-pound deadlift, this is a decent weight. It's going to get spicy. So make sure that you are breaking them up early on if you need to, so that way you can keep chipping away at them and just take small little breaks. You doing 21 unbroken versus doing 777 really isn't that much faster if you only take short, tiny little pauses in it, and it's going to keep you more fresh when you come down to 15. So keep that in mind. Same thing with handstand push-ups. Handstand push-ups are very taxing on the shoulders. They're very intense. A lot of us struggle with these in general when it comes to a high rep, like 45 of them off the bat. And especially if your goal is to get to the handstand walk, you do not want to lose those shoulders too early on. So break those up as you need to. Play it smart. If typically in a workout you do sets of 5, do sets of 5. That's perfectly fine. Don't try to do something that you cannot do that's going to blow you up, because this is a very, very taxing workout on the posterior chain and on the shoulders. If they go too soon, the workout's lost. So keep that in mind. Oh, with that being said, like going back to the Kristen Holt example earlier, her workout looked so smooth. She had a really fast Diane time the first part of the workout. She crushed that part compared to most people's times on that workout, but it wasn't like she was going very fast. Hers looked really calm. She took her time tightening her belt to go back to the bar. She took her time untightening her belt and going back to the wall. It looked very calm and relaxed. At no point was she frantically running around and trying to rush anything. It looked very calm. She crushed it, got a really good time, way under the 9-minute time cap. So if you want to get a really good score, hopefully maybe you can finish. Maybe you can get as far as you can and get some handstand walks in there. Awesome. Stay calm and cool. This is not a workout you should be breathing very hard on. Make sure you keep the heart rate down. Just a muscular endurance and strength workout, pretty much. Make each rep count. I preach this every single open, every single workout, every single workout I do year round to my athletes and to myself, is that I try to be as efficient as I can and not waste any reps. It kind of goes back to being within your limits and not pushing yourself too far, but make each rep count. So let's say you're on handstand push-ups and you're starting to get close to failure, but you still feel kind of good, so you kick back up and then you do, rep 6, 7, 8, you hear a note from your judge, you come back down. You kick back up, you go 8, 9, 10, no rep, you kick back down. Every single no rep you get is a double loss, because now you just wasted that energy and you just wasted time doing that. So it literally, that's the worst thing you could possibly do. Other than, you'd be better off just standing there doing nothing, because now you're saving energy and you'll be able to do more reps later on, versus you trying to do too much too soon and let yourself get no rep. Because especially this handstand push-up standard, I hate the fact that I went back to it, but it is what it is. With this standard, I'm gonna stop holding this. I feel like I'm shaking it and probably getting you guys like seasick. With this standard, it's very easy for you, like for all of a sudden you to have your heels in a wrong position and get no reps, because it's for you. So it's another quick tip. If you're doing handstand push-ups, go into dorsiflexion. No, excuse me. Yeah, go into dorsiflexion. That's where you bring your, so this is, I'll draw it out for you guys. So go into dorsiflexion. So this is your foot. Here's your little toesies. This is your shin. You want to do this. You want to bring your toes as close to your shins as you possibly can. I hope you can see that. It's kind of small on my screen. Bring your feet as close to your shins as you can, so that way it raises your heel an extra couple inches and really makes a difference for if those reps are going to count. Also, have those feet close together. The closer your feet are together, it's going to make you a bit longer, make it a lot easier to get over the standard. So if you've been practicing year-round having really wide handstand push-ups, this is not going to be a fun one for you. Make sure you work on those in your training, and for tomorrow, really focus on keeping those feet as close together as you possibly can. Pretty much, they should be touching. They need to be touching for each rep to be smooth and to not risk a no rep. One other thing that I want to draw up here that's really important for the handstand walks, my buddy Roderick from Pro Athletics, he did this last year and it cost him just a 1 rep on the handstand walk because he barely got to that rep in time, is that when it comes to, so real quick, the handstand walk distance needs to be 5-foot increments, and it can't be any longer than 25 feet. So even though it's 50 feet, you can't mark out 50 feet and go the whole 50 feet one way. You have to go 25 feet back, or 25 feet out, 25 feet back. That's what the standard is. I don't know why they do it, but that's how they've done it. So if you have your 25-foot increments. Let's say, you know, we have our lines, so that each one of these bars is our 5-foot increments. Both your hands need to start behind the line. If you have one hand behind and one hand touching the line or over the line, that counts as a no rep. You need to go back. If you are walking and you don't get both of your palms past, both your palms and fingers and everything past the line, not touching it at all, then you have to go back. So you have to fully clear both lines to be good. If, let's say, you're about to fall and you don't think you're gonna make it, if you quickly reach out both hands, go boom, boom, and reach over the line and then fall down, that technically counts as a good rep. A lot of games athletes have done that in the past, like at regional workouts and stuff. So really get those hands over fast every time. Make sure you're not letting yourself, you know, end it too soon. Focus on being as smooth as you can with that walk. One other thing I want to point out, a lot of things I'm thinking of last second that I really want to mention. When it comes to the handstand walk, make sure you are not letting yourself just flop around. Your lower back's gonna be really tight, your shoulders gonna be wobbly and really hard to control. So focus on your lower half as much as you can during the handstand walk and keep yourself like a banana. So when people walk, people let their legs, so I'm gonna try to do my best. Actually, I'm kind of good at drawing stick figures. Let's see if I can do it. So that's not good at all. So these are hands, this is the body, and people let their legs kind of just dangle over their body however they want. Forget that, we're not doing a diagram, I'm gonna explain it to you. People kind of let their legs just dangle over their body and kind of just flail around. Try to squeeze your butt, squeeze your core, and keep your legs together and point them where you want to go. That typically helps people direct their momentum that they're building from having that slight lean in their body and get them towards that straight line of going over. People that let their legs just dangle, when they get tired, that's when their core starts to go and they start to just flop side to side, they fall on their head and they do a bunch of crazy stuff. If you're someone that struggles with handstand walks, and not to say that having floppy legs is a bad thing, some people get really efficient with that. I can do that if I'm under a lot of serious fatigue because I practice that, but I've tried to also practice in training, keeping my legs together, having a slight lean to where I want to go with my legs, so that way I'm directing all my momentum going one way. Don't let yourself flop around, let your core be loose and your legs just go side to side. You might see with some people when they practice handstand walks, they have one leg kind of going that direction, other legs off to the side, they're flopping around. Everything as tight as you can. Try to get in like an arch position that you would for a kip, and then point your feet where you want to go every time. So those are my tips for open workout 20.3. If you guys have any questions or comments, make sure to leave them down below or direct message me, and I'll gladly get back to you guys ASAP and give you guys as much information that I think of as well. I'll also make sure I'll post it on ConstantlyVariedFitness Instagram as well, so if you're not already, follow us there. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, it helps us out a lot. Subscribe for plenty more fitness and technique videos down the road. I think that's everything. Yeah, cool. Good luck on 20.3, guys. I'll see you guys soon.